Hello, my friends. And Trump said that if Russia doesn't stop within 50 days, things will get bad. If there is no deal in 50 days, it'll be bad. Yes, the tariffs will stay and so will other sanctions. No, we shouldn't be targeting Moscow. We'll see what happens with Putin. So far, Putin has really disappointed me. In 3 months, I've resolved a bunch of wars, but not this one yet. This is Biden's war, not Trump's. I'm here to get us out of this mess. He also said he doesn't think 50 days is a long time, but as we know, in Russia, they just laughed at another ultimatum and are continuing the war.
We've seen 50 days before and 24 hours, and 100 days too. We've been through all of that already.
And here is Lindsey Graham trying to scare Russia. Equally important was his statement that if the fighting doesn't end within 50 days, he would impose up to 100% tariffs on countries buying cheap Russian oil, the same oil fueling Putin's war machine, hitting Putin where it hurts the most. If Putin or anyone else is wondering what happens on day 51, I'd suggest they call the Ayatollah. If I were a country buying cheap Russian oil and helping fund Putin's war, I'd take President Trump at his word. Of course, we understand that sadly, these are just words, and realistically, on day 51, the US isn't going to strike Russia the way it did Iran. Friends, be sure to leave your thoughts in the comments. As for the Frontline, the situation today is catastrophic. Let's start with the Pokrovsk direction. The Russians have already reached the final line of defense and are trying to push toward the town of Rodinske. If they capture it, it could lead to encirclement and a massive trap for Pokrovsk and Myrnohrad. According to the latest information, in the evening and overnight, Russian forces continued advancing toward Rodinske and were already trying to hold positions on the outskirts of Krasny Liman. They are also continuing assaults on Fedorivka, Volodymyrivka, Novoekonomichne, the village of Promень, the outskirts of Myrnohrad, Lysivka, the outskirts of Pokrovsk, and Udachne. As we can see, the Russians have been stopped on the western flank, but they are actively pushing forward on the eastern side. And the situation is getting worse by the day. Soldiers on the ground describe it like this. The Russians have almost completed forming the left flank pincers. From our point of view, the LBS of Pokrovsk-Myrnohrad. This was made possible by their rapid advance toward Rodinske. If they take it, it would complete the encirclement of our entire left flank. The right flank doesn't look good either. The Russians are advancing near Kotliny and Udachne and are also trying to push toward the Pavlograd highway with the goal of cutting it off. At the same time, they are trying to directly push through our positions south of Pokrovsk. If things keep going like this, there won't be many options left. Either it turns into another Avdiivka or another Bakhmut. That means either our garrison will have to retreat to avoid encirclement, or will end up in brutal fighting in a semi-encirclement with unclear prospects. Overall, the situation is very grim. In the Novopavlivka direction, Russian forces continue to assault Muravka, are pushing through the fields toward Novopavlivka. Fighting is ongoing on the outskirts of Oleksiivka, and they've launched assaults on Novokhatske. They're also trying to break through near Pidubne and storming the village of Myrne. There are no confirmed territorial changes yet, but the level of activity remains very high. Meanwhile, in the area around Velika Novosilka, Russian forces have captured Voskresenka. Although the Ukrainian side hasn't yet officially confirmed this, Russian troops have already shown their flags in the village. So, most likely, the village is now under occupation. This was the last village in this sector of the front. Beyond it lies Dnipropetrovsk region. In addition, battles are ongoing on the outskirts of the village of Shevchenko. The Russians are storming Vilne Pole, pushing through near Zelene Pole, and launching assaults on Temerivka. So, here too, the front line is gradually shifting and the fighting continues. In the Gulay Pole area, for the second day in a row, the Ukrainian side hasn't confirmed the capture of the village of Malinivka. However, based on video footage published by Russian sources, it appears that the village is already under their control. No new assaults have been recorded in this area, so the situation remains unchanged for now. In the Zaporizhia direction, the General Staff reports that fighting continues for Kamensk, and Russian forces are shelling the entire frontline territory. And this situation here is also difficult. It's clear that in the near future, Russian forces are likely to take full control of Kamensk, as they already control most of the village. Apart from that, there are currently no significant changes in this sector. In the Kherson direction, Russian forces have increased their activity, attempting to break through near Oleshki and on the islands. However, they haven't achieved any success so far, and Ukrainian forces are repelling all attacks. Shelling continues along the right bank, but it hasn't helped the Russians advance any further. Now let's move to the Kostantinivka direction. After a period of relative stability, the front line has started to shift here as well. Yesterday, Russian forces claimed to have captured the village of Novospassky and released video evidence showing their presence in the village. This leaves Sherbinivka, which is now almost completely surrounded by Russian forces on both sides. Holding the defense there likely no longer makes any sense, as it would only lead to more senseless losses. But we'll soon find out what a decision the general staff makes. At the same time, Russian forces are assaulting Katerinivka and attempting to break through toward the village, further worsen the situation in this sector near the Klebenbyk reservoir. Russian troops are also attacking Stupochki and Pretechene, advancing toward Bila Hora and assaulting Rusin Yar and Poltavka. But so far, there have been no confirmed changes in control. For now, we are waiting on official confirmation from the Ukrainian side regarding the loss of Novospassky. In the Siversk direction, Russian forces are storming Serebryanka and attempting breakthroughs near Gregorivka, Verkhnyokamensky, Ivanodarivka, and Vyemka. They are conducting over 10 assaults per day. However, the Ukrainian forces have managed to repel all attacks, and the front line has remained unchanged over the past 24 hours. In the Liman direction, Russian troops are assaulting Kolodezi and Shandrigolove, pushing toward Karpivka, attacking Novy Mir, and engaging in battles near Druzhelyubivka. Here, Ukrainian forces continue their counterattacks, and so far the Russians haven't been able to advance. The situation in the village of Zelena Dolina remains unclear. The Ukrainian side hasn't confirmed its loss, while Russian sources have shown videos claiming they're already in the village. So for now, we'll have to wait and see how the situation develops. In the Borova direction, Russian forces are assaulting Boguslavka, Nova Kruglякivka, and Novosergiyevka. However, so far, all attacks have been successfully repelled, and the situation hasn't changed over the past day. In the Kupiansk direction, Russian troops continue the assaults near Kindrashivka, Petropavlivka, Pishane, and Stepovanovo-Selivka. But for now, the front line remains unchanged in this area as well. In the Dvorichna direction, the Russians have so far ceased all attacks, and the number of shelling has also decreased. Over the past day, the front line hasn't changed. In the Veliki Burluk direction, the Russians haven't launched any new assaults, and the front line remains unchanged over the past day. The number of shelling has also decreased for now. In the Kharkiv direction, the Russians continue to assault the village of Zelena, but has made no progress. Fighting also continues in Vovchansk, but the front line hasn't changed over the past day. In the Sumy direction, the Russians are breaking through near Oleksievka and Bilovody. Attacks along the border also continue, but they haven't been able to advance further, and the situation remains unchanged over the past day. In the area of the village of Tetkina, the Russians continue attacks on Basalivka, but so far there is no confirmation of their breakthrough into Ukrainian territory, so for now we are waiting for new information. And today, everyone is starting to realize that Putin has no intention of stopping and is trying to capture the largest part of Ukraine. Putin will ignore Trump's ultimatum and plans to continue the war in Ukraine until the West accepts his peace terms, according to sources close to the Kremlin speaking to Reuters. The Kremlin is ready to fight, hoping to break through the Ukrainian defense, and if successful, may demand new territorial concessions. Moscow might halt its offensive after capturing 4 Ukrainian regions if it encounters strong resistance. But if the defense collapses, a large scale advance toward Dnipro, Sumy, and Kharkiv will follow. Putin's peace terms include a legal ban on NATO expansion eastward, Ukraine's neutral status, limitations on its armed forces, protection of Russian speaking populations, and recognition of the territories seized by Russia. Putin believes that no one, not even the Americans, seriously discussed peace details with him, so he will continue actions until his goals are met. Trump has little influence over Putin, and even if Washington imposes tariffs on buyers of Russian oil, Moscow will still find a way to sell it on the world markets. In the coming months, the conflict may intensify, raising the risk of tensions between the two leading nuclear powers. The war will continue. Meanwhile, Rutte says that Russia's allies need to think twice. China, India, and Brazil still don't understand what awaits them if US sanctions are imposed, Rutte said. The NATO Secretary General stated that the bill on secondary sanctions against countries aiding Russia is very important as it provides additional pressure on Moscow, which depends on its allies. Clarifications in the media and possibly discussions with senators and colleagues in Brazil, India, and China will be very useful to maximize pressure on Russia. Meanwhile, Kaja Kallas still believes that sanctions can force Putin to negotiate. Kaja Kallas called on the US to share the burden when it comes to funding arms for Ukraine. According to the European Union High Representative for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy, only through cooperation between the European Union and the US can Putin be forced to come to the negotiation table and make concessions. Friends, be sure to share your thoughts in the comments. And that's all from me. So please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on all the latest news. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.